Hey everyone, welcome to the main cut. I am your host Jade, and today we're joined by the amazing Ariana Greene, who is a licensed cosmetologist, editorial stylist, and the creative force behind Ariana's canvas. Based in Jersey City and serving the NYC and DMV communities, Ariana launched her business out of college, out of her dorm room, and has since built a brand that centers around natural hair, wellness, and artistry. Her hands have styled the likes of the singer JoJo and been on numerous fashion week runways, and she's brought her artistic touch from her sketchbook to editorial shoots and runways and short films. And, from scalp therapy to low tension protective styles, Ariana's work is deeply grounded in care and creativity. She is painting a new picture for what natural hair care can look like when it's grounded, intentional, and powerful. So, Ariana, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really lucky to have your time.
Thank you, Jay, for having me.
No, it's fine. Like I say this all the time, but we're just lucky because I know how busy this industry can be. So it's great to have the people who are behind the sets, behind the chair on today, and we're grateful to have your time. But for those who aren't familiar with your work, let's start with a bit about you and your background. Where did you start and how did you get to where you are today?
Okay. Yeah, I even want, like, even before I start, thank you again for even holding space for us. I've seen so many of my peers on here, and it
Oh,
just feels like a great, like, family reunion scrolling down your page and seeing so many people that I admire and friends of mine in the hair industry. So, giving you your flowers, kudos to
thank
you.
you.
So when it comes to how I started as in childhood, I knew I really liked to draw. I would draw a lot with my grandmother, and then also when my mom was pregnant with me, she would braid hair just as a hobby. And soon as I got to an age where my hands were moving, I learned how to braid on my Barbie dolls and my Bratz doll mannequin heads. Where as a child, I remember in my parents' basement, I would have like all the Barbies lined up, toy cash register, notebook with everyone's appointment time. And I'll be in that basement for hours. And then for my 10th birthday, my mom bought me like one of my first professional hair mannequins. And that really held me over. I would say, like in middle school and high school, I would start doing my own
Mm,
hair, and especially in preparation for college, I went to Hampton University in 2017 as a HBCU in Virginia.
mm,
And I was preparing to learn how to do my hair for HBCU campus. I'm like, okay, you know, this is my first time in a new space. I don't know who's going to be
mm.
able to book these. I don't know if I'm going to get a hair appointment, so I need to learn how to do my hair. That turned into me styling people in my dorm, styling professors of mine. I was there
Nice.
to, I was studying marketing, and my goal at that point in my life was when I graduated was to work in corporate beauty,
Mm,
work on a marketing team for a hair company. That was my end goal.
okay.
COVID happened, and I went to cosmetology school after. I told my parent that was the deal. My parents said go to college first, and I went to cosmetology school during COVID, which was a great time to go. A lot of employment opportunities, internships, and stuff were canceled for a lot of peers of mine, unfortunately. So that was a
Mm,
great use of my time, and that I was led through great scholarships such as the Tresemme Future Stylist Fund in 2020, where
nice.
at the time I was still in Maryland after I graduated. So that was my first time taking a trip to New York at that capacity where I'm assisting celebrity hairstylists. I'm working with hairstylists that are directly global ambassadors for the Tresemme brand. We were on
Mm,
episode of Project Runway, and
okay.
we were with their Fashion Week teams season after season. I will also say during school, I applied to another scholarship, Beauty Changes Lives, where I was blessed to have cosmetology school fully funded. And
Amazing.
that was maybe 2022 when I graduated cosmetology school.
Right.
Um, Crazy story. I know this is like going so many different ways, but in order to be a part of the Tresemme program and to film on Project Runway, which was a part of the program, I had to
Mm.
unenroll from the first school that I went to because I would have missed so
Oh.
many schools that I would have had to, they would have like expelled me.
Oh, wow.
So gut wrenching being so close to the finish line of finishing cosmetology school because you've already been there for a year and a half, all for the owner of the school to not embrace, like she would brag about the opportunity to get other kids to enroll, but then would give me a hard time
Oh.
about my attendance to do this. Where I had other girls that were in the program, their school was like, go ahead, girl, you'll make up the time or we'll give you hours. So
Oh.
I was crying. I literally had to like unenroll and then I did the shop Project Runway and then I re-enrolled into a whole new school.
Right.
Um, and then it took me a little bit longer to finish, of course, but
Mm.
that's just a part of the story. And I graduated in 2022, saved my money, actively drove back and forth from Maryland to New York to assist. So if the call time was 7 a.m., I would leave Maryland at 3 o'clock.
Woo.
If I already knew the hair lead, I would like have their coffee order and be seated at 7 or 8 a.m., whatever the call time was. And I was going back and forth for the past 2.5 years. And then
Mm.
last summer, I finally moved to Jersey City in 2024.
Right. Okay. I mean, I'm really glad that you mentioned that part of your journey because it's again, it's these things that people don't
It's not,
know. You
yeah,
don't know what that life really looks like, and I mean, it's amazing that you have the determination to keep doing it because I think in those instances when you're put up against those barriers, it's very easy to just let it go.
but yeah, lots of barriers or roadblocks. But when you really feel connected to your path and purpose, and there's been so
Mm.
many other blessings that have come along, and I'm grateful that even just I mean, this is marked, August is like my year anniversary of moving here, and I've met so many amazing people who had definitely given me great advice to just keep going. So I am grateful for the beauty community that is here.
Yeah, no, I mean it's always worth it when you find your people, right? That's half of it.
Yes,
Half of it is finding your
100%.
purpose, then finding the people that will help keep you, keep you going, especially when it gets difficult. But I mean, I mentioned in your intro that you emphasize wellness, natural hair health through like low tension and protective styling. So I think there is a lot around that conversation at the moment, which is just because it looks like a protective style doesn't mean that it is if it's
Yeah,
not being done right. And
correct.
so, what led you to blend hair care with that level of
Oh,
wellness in your services?
of course. So personally, I'm tender-headed myself. So I was the one, squirming in the chair and as a kid. So I'm like, how can you make this so this just doesn't hurt everyone and
Mm,
hurt myself too? Like even I recently did my hair, like these braids are not tight. They're not stitched, but it's the style, it's cute, it doesn't hurt.
mm,
I I think what motivated me to just do that, funny enough, my first part-time job was at Chick-fil-A. And it's just very customer
okay.
service friendly. So that's another part of like understanding the history of Black hair care, understanding that this is something that many of us see our family members do in our own homes. Our mother, our aunt, our
Mm,
grandmother are doing our hair. The hot comb is on the stove. Like this is something
yeah.
very because we had to historically, even like in the US, just like segregation, all that type of stuff. Discretionary
Mm,
income, I feel like
mm,
the last few generations in the Black community, like discretionary income has been utilized to do our nails, do our hair. And it's important to really make that an experience in the way that we know how. Where
mm-hmm.
my grandmother may not pay to get her hair or nails done, and I'll have to take her to get her nails or, beauty services done because that's just something that she doesn't in her lifetime may not have been an emphasis as it is now, or
Mm.
there's a level of guilt associated with paying for that when she may have had other things lined up.
To
So I think
prioritize.
to prioritize. Also, I will say the mental health space um, helped a lot too, where you think of barbershops and hair salons, it is therapy. I have many family members who they may not believe in professional therapy and sitting in a session, but they may associate therapy with going to get their hair done, or a guy family member of my family going to the barber shop and the type of conversations that's had, or the rapport they have with their hairstylist or barber that knows their personal life, may know things that other people
Mm.
around them don't know. So all of that was really taken into consideration with leading in the service space myself. So having some nice aromatherapy, even with protective styles, I feel like making sure the style's not tight. Also ensuring that the proper moisture is going into the hair before the protective style is even installed. That is the tweet. That is the one lining sentence. Like, if there is no
Mm.
leave-in conditioner, if you did not do a steam treatment, if there is like heat protected intensive hydration treatment, like if there is no moisture in the hair, no one should be doing
Yeah.
a protective style in the hair when it's dry.
Yeah.
And also upkeeping your trims. I feel like a lot of people are saying like braids are breaking people's hair off or thinning people's hair out,
Mm.
which if it is tight, it can do that and not installed properly. But on the other side is if you get braids back to back to back to back,
Hmm.
sew-ins back to back to back, and you don't get trims, like we have to remember these are not chemical services.
Hmm.
So this is braiding hair is not equivalent to putting bleach on your hair.
Hmm.
Braiding hair is not equivalent to intensive heat damage.
Hmm.
So a protective style is really holding your hair off, or like a shell of a style until you take your hair out, but it's like what is going on top of it. So what is
Hmm.
underneath? Is it hair that hasn't been trimmed in 6 months? Is it
Yeah.
hair that you know is very heat damaged? Do you have color treated hair? Those are the things that I feel like I hope and I wish the conversation gears towards more. Understanding if you're a good contestant for a protective style, or
Yeah.
speaking with your hairstylist that you consistently see. Um, I'm grateful to have a lot of returning clients where I've had a rapport with them for over 4 years, where we can build out a hair calendar for yourself. So even if you don't go to
Mm.
somebody else and get a wig install, or go to somebody else and get a color service, it's like we're all on the same page of your hair health from start to finish. I know it's just like going to a primary care doctor, but I'm telling my therapist some things that I found, or um just in the same wheelhouse. Anyone who is involved with you in the wheelhouse of hair and beauty should all kind of be on the same page, to make
Yeah.
things. Um, I feel like we see a lot of things in influencer culture of like hair tutorials and products, but it's important. Everyone's hair is case by case. So
Yeah.
having that dialogue and knowing what really pertains to you and your hair regimen as a client, I feel like it's very important.
No, it is. And I think we were having, funnily enough, the podcast episode that I just recorded the other day was about like the difference between the role of influencers and the role of hairstylists, and it's
Yep.
not that influencers don't have a place. I think their place
Yep.
is very much in pushing for like advocacy and like raising awareness of issues and even sharing their own experiences. But when it comes to getting advice, I do firmly believe people need to be going to a hairstylist that they can trust,
Yeah.
because that stylist can create a custom plan that is for them versus them listening to somebody that has just spoken about their hair from their own personal experience, and their hair could be different to yours for so many different ways, not just not just different in terms of the way that it looks, but it could be different because of their diet. It could be
Yep.
different because of like hormonal differences. It could
Yep.
be different because
Or
of
medications that they're
medication.
taking. Yeah.
Yes. So
100%.
there are so many
100%.
reasons, but you know, if you want that advice that's relative to you as a person, the best thing to do is find a great stylist that can give you that advice. So I like really, really thoroughly, strongly agree with what you said. And I mean, you've also spoken openly about overcoming things like anxiety and hormonal hair loss and, you know,
Yeah.
using scalp treatments as therapy. So can you
Yeah.
share how that personal journey informs how you now support your clients?
Yeah, 100%. I remember I was in high school and I was in a very rigorous program, the IB program in high school, which to this day was harder than anything that I did in college. So if
Oh,
anyone knows
wow.
what the International Baccalaureate program is, I lost hair. I lost about this much hair.
Wow.
And I had chronic migraines for about a year. So bad I had to go to the dermatologist and get steroid shots in my scalp to like because
Wow.
I would scratch my scalp so much that the hair follicles just died. So I had to get shots to like rejuvenate um that area.
Yeah.
So that I also big chopped and went natural when I was about 12. So
Mm,
I feel like a lot of the intentionality that I have with like hairstyling and working in this type of career comes from in a way of how while servicing other people on their hair journey and making them feel confident, it inherently has also made me be more confident about my hair and heal a lot of internal insecurities that I had. Even last year, I had locks for about 2 years just to be like,
oh, wow.
hey, I want to take more lock clients. How can I relate to my lock clients? I did cut my locks last year, but even in that journey, I've always had a goal. Like any hairstyle that I offer, I would to clients, I would love to have, at least have tried it myself. So even this,
Yeah.
the cornrows and the curly stuff the girlie's doing, I said, let me just throw that in my head. Let me just throw that in my head real quick so I can see. I'm like, okay, is this sitting too far back? Is this, I didn't do the designs or nothing, but um, I, to answer your question, those are my direct personal experience, and then also just seeing how Black women are portrayed in the media, and especially about our hair. It's a very
Mm,
sensitive topic where, like, I mean, if I didn't like how my hair was, I would not go to school some days, and I would just be in bed, depressed, crying all day. So definitely a different woman now, but it took that, I feel like, to build the level of care and intentionality that I have, and
mm,
I want clients to feel comfortable sitting in my chair and
mm.
um, really honing in on a safe space.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what people want. You know, people want to, especially when people have had bad experiences, you know, they want to go to a space where they feel like that stylist is going to listen to them and they're going to
Yeah,
try to understand and, you know, help them work through maybe how they're reacting to some of those bad experiences that they've had in the past. I find it's really sad that this happens, but the good stylists end up doing the repair that the you know the bad stylists have done, and
yeah.
sadly
I
they
mean,
end
it's
up
like
having to work
relationships.
through.
It's like relationships. Like sometimes we cleaning it up because of somebody else. You know,
Yeah,
we're taking on baggage that's was wasn't
that
ours.
you didn't create. It's
Yeah,
baggage that you didn't
yeah,
create. But I mean, you know,
yeah,
you describe your salon as a safe service first environment, and so how have you, bearing all of that in mind, like the experience that you're trying to create and wanting it to reflect that, and for every person that comes in, how did you design the client experience to make sure that it's like relaxing and you know it's all about transformative hair care?
Okay, so in my hair studio that I had in Maryland, I have recently moved to Jersey within the last year, but My
Mm.
previous space in Maryland, I missed so much. I would have candles, incense, I had a hair steamer, I had a full fridge of refreshments, a work from home
Nice.
desk for my clients. With the
Amazing.
client intake form, I would have a questionnaire so it relieves any anxiety and reassurance as well, where they can see the style type, how long it takes, of course, the cost, things that are included in the service, but it also asks them a little bit about their hair. Like, what is your hair density? Do you have
Mm.
upload any inspo photos? I have a line where it says you got to check this box if you're gonna come in with good energy. It says, will you come with good vibes? Yes or no? Yes or no? And so many people when they come in, they would comment like, "I love how you just had like, are you gonna come in with good good energy?" Because it's important to really set that intention. I
Yeah.
know, you never know who's gonna walk in your door. You never know if that's something that they really need for that day. You don't know how their
Mm.
weeks or days, months have been prior. So I think just setting it from the start of like, I intentionally would like you to come in with good energy and I'm going to bring my best
Yeah.
foot forward. We've already talked about the difficult stuff. So by the time
Hmm.
that you and I review those notes before they come,
Mm.
so when you do come, it's like we're just going to do a quick recap on what you've already shared. Let me know if anything has changed. And I
Hmm.
also, throughout the appointment, I like to do check-ins too and ask them how they feel and make the client feel a part of it as well. Like, hey, do you want more volume in your hair? Do you want less? Like, which side, what works for you? How's your lifestyle? Do you go to the gym a lot? All right. If you do, would you like minimal leave out, or would you like a curly sew in general?
Yeah.
Oh, since you work out a lot, would you like you're gonna get feet ins? Well, let me do a row in the back because so you can throw your hair into a bun, um,
Mm.
or a ponytail. So, are you in the military? What length does your braids have to be so you don't get in trouble? Um,
Yeah.
you're going to need your braids to be lightweight in order to even tie them into a bun. So let me do them in a way that they're lightweight, but they can also
Mm-hmm.
be full. Oh, you have a scalp condition? Let me do an apple cider vinegar wash on the braiding hair before using it, or depending on the price point that you like to pay, I'll just order some human hair and you can get fully human hair
Mm.
braids.
Mm. It's like it's taking the step to ask the questions that clients wouldn't think to ask because they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ultimately
100%.
what makes people feel safe because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, these are like 10 things that I didn't even know to think about, and I
100%.
think that's what people really appreciate is when that's when people feel the value because they can see
Yeah.
that you're doing things that are beyond them because
Yes.
they don't have
Yeah.
that education, they don't have that knowledge. So
And
they're
that
like,
type
oh,
of
this isn't.
consideration too, especially where I
Yeah.
feel like in the Black community, like I feel like that is just, I want everyone, no matter their cultural background, but everybody who looks
Mm.
like me to feel comfortable and to feel seen and heard, because there is so psychologically so many times where we spend so much
Mm.
time
Yeah.
masking, being invisible, um, on so many different aspects, whether it's work, whether it's, I don't even watch, I don't even really watch dating shows because I'm triggered of how Black women are treated on dating shows. That's a whole nother
Um.
conversation, but just taking all of that
Yeah.
in, it's like, I want you to feel fully reassured, present and seen and valued in the experience.
Yeah. And I think it's also when clients feel like they're being educated.
Yeah, educated too, yeah. Giving them tips to
Education.
to apply at home too. And I think education is power. I feel like I was booking a service, something more in the wellness space a few weeks ago. And the
Mm.
person mentioned to me, like I asked, like, hey, uh, do you have some type of like program or like list of information that I can see? And they were just like, no, because why would I tell you how I do my job? And they're like, I know you're a hairstylist. Do you do that? I shared, yeah, my clients know Everything
Mm,
I'm doing, they can know the products that I'm using. Like that
mm,
doesn't bother me because they'll be educated to know while they're at home, hey, I know not to put oil on my hair if it's dry already. I know to mist my
mm,
scalp with something first, or the
mm,
steam from the shower, some type of
mm,
moisture that's already on my head, that's when I can put oil
mm.
on. Or if I have a certain hair texture, I don't even need the oil at all. I could use a leave-in mist or a spray,
Yeah,
So I feel like knowledge is power where, I mean, AI is not going to take a lot of service providing jobs. So it's like we don't have to
no.
be afraid of someone, knowledge is power. It's very important to educate your clients.
Yeah, I mean 100%. And I mean I think there's there's helping people to recognize the value of you as a stylist, which is you can educate them and help them to come up with a regimen that
Hmm.
stops them from causing any damage to their hair in between
Yeah.
appointments.
Hmm.
And I think that's also the power, right? Because what you don't want is you don't want clients to be taking your work backwards,
Yep.
even not even intentionally, accidentally, because they don't know any better.
Exactly.
Because then you're just
Accidentally.
gonna
Yep.
have to work twice as hard when they come back.
The next time. Yep. a hundred
You know,
percent.
it's not worth it. And I mean, going to the work that you do. So you'll travel to New York to not only do work with your clients, but working in editorial, film, commercial shoots. So how do you balance traveling as like a hairstylist that's on these different work gigs, and also running your brand,
That
and then having
is
clients?
that is the question of the year. Because I have to remember what day today is Wednesday. I
Yeah.
have I have a photo shoot Thursday and Friday that I'm on the hair team of in New York. I have
Wow.
clients in Maryland on Saturday. I have
Wow.
a wedding in New Jersey on Sunday, and then a photo shoot in Maryland on Monday.
Wow. Okay. That's a packed diary.
And it's just like I know that am a neurospicy girly, and this is the point where you got to look in the mirror, and I'm just like, I think the thing for me is like this has been going on for so long because it just always
Mm,
seems to work out. Like it always, the procrastination, I wouldn't even say the procrastination, the doing everything all at once has been going on for so long. It's a reality for
mhm,
a lot of beauty professionals, but I appreciate your question because it's so reassuring because I needs to be a change and some structure. I even have
mm,
clients in from back home that offer like if you need a virtual assistant, like I'll help out. Like
I know.
so I'm trying to find balance now. That's the goal. The goal for August is to find balance in all of it. I will say in New York, I'm part-time with clients, but I am more on set. So
Right.
in New York, it's more like 80% on set, 20% like doing goes and clients. Maryland will
Right.
be like 95% taking clients. So
Okay.
that's one thing I really don't have an answer for because this week is a prime example of Ariana, what's going on?
But I think that's also, again, it's good for people to hear that that's kind of the reality of
Yeah,
what the job looks like, is that
yeah,
you have to work your way up to that balance. You don't just walk
yeah,
into it. I
yeah.
think there's a really big misconception that people have of once you work for yourself, you automatically have balance. But the reality is that balance has to be earned.
Yeah,
And it often takes a lot of
a
you
lot
have
of
to work
pre-planning.
hard before you can work smart.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like
Yeah.
even there's and it kind of creates I feel like an illusion. I feel like it's one thing that people may see on your Instagram and then not know
Hmm.
what your internal life is. Like there's um, Beauty Launchpad announced their 30 for 30 a few months ago, and I was lucky to be
Oh,
like a recipient of that award that they had. And
amazing.
I literally have the boxes in my closet that I need to. I haven't really even sat in that moment. I have the boxes that I need to unpack and like do an unboxing and actually see it and see my name on the
Oh,
page. And it's like it's very it's like it's very hard having like time to reflect, or even things are so go 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 you don't realize and look back like what you've been doing,
no.
and what what the goal is. So it's a lot navigating going to the gym,
Yep.
platonic friendships, um,
Yep.
all the family, all those things are very hard to navigate in the midst of when your schedule is like that.
100%. And again, it's good for people to know what the reality of that looks like, because again, it looks very glamorous. I mean, in some ways,
Yeah,
being in set on the sets is glamorous because you get to meet amazing people that are super
yeah,
creative doing all these wonderful projects. But then when you're waking up at 3 a.m. and getting back at 9 p.m., that's less
yeah,
glamorous.
yeah, yep,
And
yep,
having to look after yourself and try and be present for other people at the same time, it's not easy.
yeah,
So what I always appreciate about these conversations is when people come in and they tell the truth, because it can look one way
yeah,
externally and be very, very different when you're on the inside.
yep. And I feel like I was just having a conversation with a hair friend of mine before even get hopping on this meeting today, and it's just like I can't like there's a certain level of fake it till you make it, but I will be brutally honest
Mm,
with people where I'm like, this is not conventional right now, you know?
mm-hmm,
Or this may present one way, but this is
mm-hmm.
not, there's so many things that go into it that people don't realize.
Yeah, there's so much that people don't know and they don't see.
Yeah.
Um, and we
And I
appreciate
haven't
that
even scratched
you.
the surface. Like I'm literally like 25 years old. Like I haven't
Yeah,
even I
there's.
I applaud all of the pioneers, all of my mentors, all of my hair friends, everybody that you posted on this page. Like I'm literally still in my baby stylist era. And I see the see the line.
No,
So,
there's a lot that goes into it, a lot that people don't see, they don't know, but the most important thing to remember is that it takes time to get to that place where you have balance.
yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay that it takes time. I mean, you know, um, you've, like you say, we said earlier, you focused on hair and wellness. The two things are
Yeah.
interlinked, they're interconnected, they will never be separated. But given the hair space is so huge, there are so many different avenues that you can go down. Do you have any aspirations to do other things? You know, like a product line, or teach workshops, or expand into like creative direction roles? Is there anything else that you really want to do?
100%. So I feel like my curiosity for hairstyling on a level of photo shoots and film and fashion started as a child watching like old 70s Diana Ross movies with my grandma. Even The
Oh,
Wiz, even seeing The Wiz, and I'm like, who was the wardrobe? Who is the makeup? And who was the hair on this? And how can I get that job? How can I get a job like that? So definitely I would love to work on like a TV show or movie at some point. Love to have my own
mm,
products. I am working on that. I've been working on it for some time because
amazing.
um things with social media seem like so like microwavable. You can just put it in and put it out, but you gotta wait for that
Mhm.
trade. You gotta wait for that trademark. You gotta protect that name. So there's
Mm.
some products that I hope to start launching this year, and yeah, one of them I'm working. I love to sketch, and a lot of my editorial stuff, I would draw them out first. So I'm working on a
Amazing.
coloring book, waiting for the name to get trademarked. But
Amazing.
a great friend of mine from high school who made my first logo when I was in college, she co-illustrated with me. So like if you go on my hair page, this is a
Oh,
piece of work that is already on my page.
I
Um
love that.
so like this is the first product that I want to launch because it's like,
Okay.
okay, no one's this is just seems like very like
Oh, I
harmless.
love that.
This is just a coloring book. So like this is just a mock-up of it
Yeah.
that I'm waiting for. So waiting for the name to get trademarked. Hopefully that'll be this year. Um I'm working on some products, but I have to go back to my cosmetic chemist and just
Mm.
reevaluate probably what products that can be something further down the line. And additionally, I would love to work in education as well.
Okay.
With my background in marketing, I tell people all the time, like 19-year-old me would have thought that I would like 19-year-old me wanted to be someone working in marketing on the social media team, planning
Mm.
the photo shoot from start to finish for a hair company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the state of that industry, corporate beauty, the state of, as you were talking about in a previous podcast, you mentioned influencers and hairstylists. And
Mm.
um, I wish that more beauty brands would understand that beauty professionals are your friends. And it's
Mm-hmm.
important to have invite them on the team,
Yeah.
you know, invite them internally,
Yeah.
invite them to do creative direction.
Yeah.
Um, I have a degree in marketing, but I know so many other talented people who would be great creative directors. And they've been styling hair for
Mm.
decades or doing makeup for decades, but the job requirement, could require XYZ level of degree, XYZ level of experience. So at some point I would love to partner with a hair company and work side by side with like their marketing team or their education team,
Mm.
making hair tutorials, using their products,
Yeah.
or planning out the photo shoots. I would love to do that as well.
That sounds amazing. I mean, I think one thing that brands don't realize, well, I would say some of them are starting to catch up because what you do find is there are some brands that will have a like a hair educator who is a
Yeah,
hairstylist or a trichologist, or there's somebody internally that kind of leads the way with that. There are
yeah,
some brands that do get it because they have that
yes. And
internal person.
I feel like, can we mention names?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine.
I feel like Sacred and Fenty Beauty do a great
Mm,
job at that.
mm,
There are other brands that will not be named that you see how influencers are using a product, and then
mm,
months later everyone's having different results and drastic
mm,
results, and they're talking about hair loss or my scalp's irritated or my hair is coming out in clumps, and it's like,
mm,
well, the budget also should go towards having educators that are making the content to show people how to use it, not someone who they could wash their hair with Dawn dish soap and it still look good.
Mm.
Um, or even like if there was a company that had a commercial and the hair didn't straighten correctly. And it's like if you had someone that had textured hair
Mhm.
internally work on your team, that wouldn't have been approved.
Mm.
That wouldn't have been approved, and that would have ended up saving your company money. Or, if they faced any backlash, it would have prevented all of that.
Yeah, yeah. It makes a huge difference when brands take the time to really make sure that they're incorporating the right people in their teams. And hairstylists for hair brands is a no-brainer. They should be a part of their internal dialogue. They should be there. They should be in the product testing. They should be in like the content or the education side. They should be a part of the marketing because they speak to consumers every day. They know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So they have a very strong place, and I think the right
Yeah.
brands bring those people into the fold
Yeah.
so that they have a team of people that can really educate not even just the consumers, but they can even educate other stylists
Yeah.
on
That
what
too.
their
Yeah.
actual like ranges are supposed to do so that they can
Yeah.
recommend the right range to the
Yeah.
customers that need them most. So
Yeah.
I firmly agree that the right brands will do that. They will take the
Yeah.
time to bring hairstylists into the fold.
Yeah. And it's true. And I will say, I feel like most professional hair care brands do a great job at it
Yeah,
because they are only sold in Cosmoprof or Salon Centric. So it
yeah.
has, I was grateful to have the opportunity to work a contract role where I worked in product testing for a few months this year.
Ah,
That was really
nice.
fun, but it was for a professional grade company. So
Yeah.
I do want to say I think marketing can be different based on if it's a professional grade salon
Mm-hmm.
product or
Yeah.
if it's something that is more a product that you may see in the beauty supply store or Ulta or Sephora, which they do
Mm-hmm.
still have professional grade products, but some products are maybe marketed more consumer friendly. So I
Yeah.
get why they want to have the influencers because it seems more relatable. But I think there's like a happy medium and balance of like
100%.
really doing both.
Yeah, exactly. There is definitely that, and I think there are still plenty of brands that need to catch up with that vision of having that happy balance, right?
Yeah.
Um, there are some of them that are doing a great job, and a lot of them that need to do better. I think that's fair to say. But I mean, I have our last question. We have gone through everything very, very quickly. It's almost been an hour, but I mean, we're super interested in knowing more about your journey and what's next for you. So, are there any upcoming projects or collaborations, campaigns that you're excited to share that you've been a part of or that are coming up?
Um, I'm excited for New York Fashion Week.
Ah,
I'm
okay.
excited for some personal photo shoots that I have planned for my personal brand.
Nice.
Um, I'm excited for that. As far as freelancing, that type of work is like very day to day, week to week. Like
Mm.
Monday, you could say like, okay, I may just take some clients this week, and then by the end of the week, you're working every day. You're working every day, and you're doing all the things. So I'm excited for what's in store. I do have a project that I'm very passionate about right now, and I feel will be extremely impactful to the hair space and just working some logistics out.
Mm.
Um, but I will be excited to share once it's like finalized and everything, and definitely will um, loop you into with like the final product.
Yeah.
But something it really ties into this whole conversation that we had today. It'll be it'll be a true, like, very refreshing rebalance. I feel, everything going well, God willingly. Yeah.
Okay, no, I love that. And I mean, for everybody who's listening, we will have links to Ariana's socials and her website so you can keep an eye on the work that she's doing and keep up to date with, any of the new stuff that's coming that can't be spoken about yet. So bear that in mind that, you can hear more from her when you follow her. Um, but I mean, that all sounds amazing. Can't wait to see and hear of all of the things that you do next, especially when things are super busy. It sounds like there's a lot going on anyway. But yeah, thank you so much, Ariane, for your time.
Yes, Jay. Thank you.
No, it's been so
Thoroughly
lovely
enjoyed
just
it.
to.
Thank you for even um finding me and just, presenting this just amazing opportunity and sharing space with me during this time.
Like I said, the pleasure is mine. I'm really, yeah, it's been really lovely having you for you to share like your experiences, your knowledge, because there are so many people that otherwise just wouldn't know. So thank you
Yep, and I'm
so,
still
so
learning and I'm
much.
still growing. So the goal is just to always be a student to the craft and
Yes.
constantly involve and keep community first as well. You know,
Yep.
move in community.
100%. That's what we want. And that's what, part of this podcast and this community is. It's how can we bring people together that can learn from people who have been there, done it, worn the t-shirt in ways that, other people that are listening may not have. So thank you for sharing all that you shared. Also, a big thank you to everybody who's listened from the beginning to the end. If you jumped in part way in between, we're very grateful to everybody who's in our community. If anything that we've said today has resonated with you, please share, comment. The more people that know that our podcast exists, the more people that we can help. And that's always the aim. So again, Ariana, thank you so much for your time. Thank you to our community. And we will see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you so much, Jade. Hope you have a nice week.